Hey everybody, I am Jeffrey Jansen. Today we are going live for a reason, and that's because I wanted to get into, and I haven't been doing it too much, and I think it's just for the reason why it was just starting to bother me a lot. We're going into the 22. We're going into the depression stage as far as what people are going through right now, and with PTSD, and with men and women in the military, and I'm getting a lot more truck drivers and stuff into it. And so a lot of stuff that you guys see me do is I always call them daily reflections or, daily motivation and stuff like that. But it boils down to this. Every day, the reason why I give examples of things that you can do and the things that you can say and places you can go are so that you accomplish something in your life. Now, a lot of times I tell you to go out and make your bed. Now, that came from an admiral in the Navy, okay? A Navy admiral. And it was a speech that he gave. I'm not going to take somebody else's credit. They said that. A lot of stuff I get from the people, the stuff that I come up with, you know, it's just because I've listened to a lot of great people and I've seen a lot of great people out there. But one of the things that I've noticed personally is that no matter what we say or do, people that are going through whatever they're going through, okay, they're not reaching up. They're not asking for help because the reason why they're not asking for help is they think they're the problem. Now I'm sure a lot of you can understand that you don't want family members knowing if something bad happened. You don't want cousins or brothers or friends or church people to know what's going on in your life or anything else. That's the best way to explain what somebody with PTSD or somebody that's got depression is going through, whether it's military or non-military. It doesn't make any difference. It's still the same. It's people, and so whenever people are being bullied or whenever we're attacking and attacking and attacking, what happens is you're right. A lot of people, they feel that they're right, but they can't attack back because they may not have all the answers, but they know, so they get depressed. Now, people that have been to certain countries or combat situations, maybe they have witnessed things that they couldn't. Maybe they're going through, maybe fighting for their kids. Maybe they're in court nonstop. Maybe they're being accused of different things because nobody's seeing it the right way. Maybe they're having a drug addiction. Maybe, they can't, it's kind of like the Austin Powers where Fat Bastard said, or sorry if there's kids watching, where he said, I eat because I'm not happy. I'm not happy because I eat. So in other words, it's a catch 22. And one of the things that we can do for each other, one of the things that we can basically get right to the source is first off, get around people that are going to celebrate you. And sometimes we don't know how to do that because the people we're around, we've been around them for so long, we don't realize that they're negative until they're gone. And when they come back in the picture, and there has been people in my life like this too, where it's all of a sudden it's like, really, all you are is negative. Or your only way of laughing is to put somebody else down. Why? You know, we looked at people that go to churches all the time and everything else to tell us to do good things, and they had those crazy jokes, and we kind of laughed at them. Why? Because they're like, oh, everybody can't be holier than thou. I'm not asking to be holier than thou, you know, but I'm also not asking you to fake the funk, Don't go through different things if you don't mean it. You know, People always ask me if I'm religious and stuff, and I am, and I believe in God, and that's not what this is about. This is about doing the right thing the right way. But if you can do it for yourself and you can be there and you can pull yourself up, you can definitely pull others up also. Zig Ziglar said, if you help enough people to the top, they will pull you up. Now, what does the top mean? Everybody's different. Everybody's idea of success is different. Everybody's idea of, strategy is different. We look at somebody and we think everybody's got the same viewpoints. We think that everybody thinks the same. This election year this year, you can tell that not everybody thinks the same way. Not everybody thinks with clarity. And I'm talking about all sides, not just one or two. Sometimes we're sitting there, yeah, yeah, and all of a sudden our friends will say something. We already agree with them 100%. And then they'll say something, and we're like, yeah, but it's not truthful. And then we kind of look at them like, what? You know? Or people are giving a reason why they're committing violent crime. There is no reason. But there's people right now today, they're going along with the crowd because the crowd's the only thing that's accepting of them. We've all been in situations where we didn't feel like our situation would ever be accepted. We didn't feel like, who we are, what we do, where we go, who we love, what we're doing is going to be accepted by the people that we're around today. But maybe if we stick around long enough, maybe it'll be around. The problem is, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you come from. You know, we've all been through a lot of stuff. And one thing about human nature is we're all sinners. You know, we're all designed to fail. But what's great about us is we're also designed to learn from those failures, brush ourselves off, get up, and keep moving forward. Sometimes the only way to get away from the negative, it's like going through a swamp. You know, you have to, there's no way around it, no matter which way you go. So you might as well just go right through it. Now, some people are going to get stuck. Some people are going to get caught up. And some people, they're going to drown. But guess what? If you do it together and you help enough people through it, and you're like, hey, come on, you reach down and you help them. You know, I was blessed with a great family, okay? And it started with my mom and you know, it ended with my dad and everything else, to where, you know, they never yelled or screamed or anything like that. You know, I was always loved. And, you know, they let me fail when I needed to fail. You have to let people fail too, by the way. But on the other hand, if you don't know what success is and you finally get it, it feels really good. But the problem is, success can be anything from learning, like a child learning, what is 2 plus 2? 4, okay? That's a big deal to a child. We are all childlike in our own way. So when you see somebody going through depression and PTSD, or whenever you're not nice to somebody, you may not know, but you may be stinging nerves of people that you care about. You know, you may be thinking you're doing what is right, when actually you're doing what's right for you and not for them. You're doing what's right for right now, but what's the consequences for later? And here's the thing, we don't know. If we don't keep moving forward, we will never know what later is going to be. I had my friend, Adam, kill himself at the wood line of the Illinois Veterans Home. I lost a Marine brother on a motorcycle accident. You know, I lost my buddy Dave, who hung himself. You know, I lost a Marine Corps friend of mine, Glenn, who decided that it was more important to join the 22. You know, and I can go on with many, many stories. But you know, the stories that are inspiring me is when I was 13, 14 years old, and I had a friend by the name of Jeremy Fletcher. And Jeremy, he loved life. He really did. He loved life more than anything else. And he's always going to be remembered from me. I remember his best friend was Jay Sparrow. And Jeremy got bone cancer. And the cancer came. And the only thing Jeremy wanted to do was he wanted to graduate with his class. He wanted, and so he actually worked harder when he was sick than he ever did when he was healthy. He loved football, you know. And the only reason why I got to know Jeremy is because when I was going through my hard times, Jeremy showed up at my church. One day I looked back and there he was, and I noticed day by day he was getting thinner and thinner. Jeremy was a big boy. He really was. But he kept getting thinner and thinner because the cancer was taking him. And you know, I made a friend because instead of, you know, I thought he was great because he was going to my church. You know, I got to talk to him. He was popular, you know, and he didn't know I was going through a lot of stuff too after losing my mom to cancer and my grandpa's and stuff like that. And later on, you know, I became friends with his best friend, who I don't talk to much these days, but he's still a great guy, which is Jay. But in the end, it didn't matter what his political views were. It didn't matter what all he cared about was the good times. So Jeremy had success. His success was being a great person, and he learned that the nicer you are, the happier you are. The more you reach down and pull people up. He didn't want people to look at him because of cancer or whatever. Now think of it. I'm 41 today. Or I've been 41 since April. Don't tell nobody. You know, and this was when I was around 13 years old. 14, you know, in the prime, you know, when we all like, oh, I wish I could drive, I wish I could do this, I wish I could do that. And I was going, you know, to the public school system when my entire family went to the Catholic school system. And the reason why I tell you this story is because at no time did Jeremy feel sorry for himself. At no time did he look down. But the people around him got depressed. And there was no reason for it. And so I kind of can think of Jeremy today as basically telling people, hey, let's go play a game. Let's go do something. Let's go, you know. Instead of sitting there and turning your back on people, instead of sitting there thinking you can't do something, find what it is you can do. And find those people that celebrate you. But no matter what, there are people around you today that need you. And you know what? You may not be depressed, but there may be somebody next to you that you're talking to all the time, but you haven't asked the right questions yet. Why? We don't want to ask those questions. I get it. We don't want to intrude in anybody else's life. And the reason why I'm saying this today is because I did go and visit a friend today. I visited a friend I met a couple years ago. He's a Marine. He's a great guy. And I've seen his family, and I've seen his wife and his brother-in-laws, and a lot of people, and he took on the weight of the world all the time. But he always had a glow about him. But the depression caught up with him. And I saw him today, and he asked me a question. And I'm not going to tell you who it is, but he asked me a question, and this was just today. He goes, how does it go away? When does it go away? I'm like, what does what go away? He goes, the depression. I'm like, I'm not sure I'm following him. He goes, it just won't go away. And here's the guy that, he's got the world. And he's a great guy. And he's asking me, the last person in the world that he should ever ask. And I had to be honest with him. Through my own struggles and through what I go through and everything else, which a lot of people don't know I have my own. I had to be honest with him. I'm like, you want me to be honest with you? He goes, yeah. I'm like, it doesn't go away. It will never go away. But that doesn't stop us from doing what is right. And I was like, the only way to combat it is to get around people that celebrate you. The only way to combat it is do something different from time to time that excites you and energizes you, because I think depression is one of those things. It's like happiness and sadness. How do you make them go away? You don't. They're there forever. Depression is the exact same thing. I'm not a counselor. I know it. But people take drugs all the time, and I've watched my military friends take drugs that cause them to kill themselves because the drugs push them over the edge. I see other people taking drugs and narcotics, and they disappear on their family, and they leave 3 kids and a wife, and they go hiding in a freaking cabin somewhere because they let the illegal drugs take over. I've watched other people take legal drugs, which is alcohol and stuff, and they drink themselves into a slumber, but nobody around them is noticing, because the people are around them, they want to have that good time, not realizing that the person they're doing it with they're not doing it for a good time. They're doing it for a release. They're doing it to close off the world for a little bit. So I told my friend today, the only way to do it is not through drugs. It's through communication. It's through talking. It's through basically, doing the things that you don't want to do, the things that embarrass you, the things that excite you, the things that, and he's like, well, I'm like, yeah, but I forced myself through it. I do like videos and stuff with me and my daughter, so one day she has something to look back on. But also so that she knows that those times, I was hurting, but because of her, I was able to get my energy levels, and I push them so high that I'm able to just be free. And it feels good, as long as no one's getting hurt, and as long as I'm not being, as long as we're doing positive for other people. When we do everywhere from the Soapbox Derby, or Fishing for Freedom, or the Tri-State Warrior Run, or the Marine Corps League, or things with the American Legion, or the parades, or the dances, and we're doing something that benefits somebody else, we're taking our mind off those problems and we're helping somebody else. And I'm a true believer that even though depression will never go away, the more people you help, the more your depression will recede back down into its nasty little lair. Now, I don't think anybody has the answer, but we always need people to talk to. We always need people that we can confide in. So if you're doing good for you, and I can tell you to go get that extra job, I can tell you how to go and open up a business, I can tell you, the things you can do with your kids and your families and everything else, and you go out there and do it, and you're having a good time doing it, it pulls you one step away from that bottomless pit that a lot of us have never figured out how to get away from. And one day when you look back at it all, you're making memories with your family, your kids, your friends, but not families to where you're drinking yourself into a stupor or doing drugs until you can't, but memories of doing a Tri-State Warrior Run where they tell me, Jeff, you just ran that whole thing and you're here first. I'm like, yeah, I got to go back out and keep running. They're like, wait a minute, you just finished the race and the main runners are still running and you already passed them. I'm like, yeah. got it all on camera too. They're like, wait a minute, you did an entire parade with running around. Why? Because the people are out there. You know, people, they like to laugh, they like to scream, they like to have energy. It's like kids when I was a lifeguard. Now, this is me, and these are the only reason why I'm giving examples is because I used to do crazy things because kids had a fear of diving boards. And Chris Seals was my boss, and I was at the YMCA, and I remember that I used to do something crazy. I used to buy all kinds of toys and everything else so that I could get around kids' fears of the water and fears of diving or fears of swimming or fears of the deep end. There's only one guy that I was never really able to teach how to swim because he was solid muscle. His name's Thomas, by the way. He's still around to this day. Great dad, great husband, just a really, really great guy. He's a little bit older than me and probably one of the nicest guys I've ever met. But he's the only guy I could never teach how to swim because he was solid muscle and I could not figure out a way to get him over his fear. And I couldn't figure out a way because I was younger than him to try to get him to get into. And when I did, he didn't want to wear or do different things. That's neither here nor there. But the point is, at one point in time, I had several kids that were terrified of the diving board. They were just so scared. They, you know, their moms were hover mom, you know, the helicopter mom, the ones that just watch them, everything they do. And I asked all the parents, I was like, I need you guys to trust me. And so I brought all the lifeguards in for one day. I was like, I need everybody's help today. And they're like, why? I'm like, if I'm going to have every one of these kids going off the diving board and I can't save them because of what I'm going to do to show them that it's not scary. So what I did was, do you remember the MC Hammer pants? Okay, this is what I did. Now, why does this have to do with depression? You'll find out here in a second. So I had on my swimsuit. I put on my MC Hammer pants. I had on this really funny shirt that I put on. I put on a big duck around me. I had on my floaties. I had on rollerblades. I put on sock boppers. I had a cowboy hat on my head. Okay? I had a whistle around my neck. I had anything. I had stuff around there like, what the heck? My boss, Chris, was ready to kill me. He's like, what are you? I was like, just trust me. Okay? So I told all the kids, here's the deal. I am going to go off the diving board just like this. First, I had to figure out a way to get up there. And I did. And I rollerbladed to the end, and I was able to stop myself. And I was like, okay, guys. And I got them all hyper, and I got them all hyped up and everything else. And I was like, okay, when I jump in, everybody's got to jump in the water. Well, the lifeguards were all there. Everything was safe. Everything was monitored. The parents were laughing. I'm surprised that nobody got this on camera. Thank goodness. And when I jumped in the water, every kid jumped in after me. Like, they didn't go off the diving board right away. And the lifeguards are jumping in, making sure all the kids, they all get back to the side. Oh my God, they're just laughing. Then the kids hurried up and ran over to the diving board. Like, oh, you got to stop. You got to walk. I'm still in the water, mind you, with everything on. By the way, you know, I was doing buoyancy. And the kids got up there, and then the other lifeguards like, hey, here's the deal, guys. You're going off the diving board. You got to jump on top of Chap. I'm like, what? So I wasn't planning on that one, but guess what, man? They were so hyper, they forgot about their fears. They forgot about why they didn't want to, and they were more important on jumping on top of me time and time again. And after the fifth time, not a single person, not a single one of those kids was scared to jump off the diving board. After that, we did tricks to get them to actually go down head first and actually dive right into the water. And then I did that stuff when I was at Wavering. That was the YMCA. I did that stuff at Wavering Aquatic Center too all the time. And the whole idea was to get the kids out of their fear, to put them in a place where, hey, I want to do that. That's fun. Or, you know, it's kind of like, let's go dumb bad as you're a kid. You know, granted, I was 16 years old, 17 at the time. 16 at the time. And I did that. And, you know, after that, my boss, Chris, he's like, that was the stupidest thing I've ever seen anybody do. He goes, but you want to know something? Those kids remembered every minute of it. After that, I did, like, exercise and stuff in the pool to get older people in, trying to learn. And it was a fear. Now, later on, I take that same idea, and I taught Marines how to swim. Once we got into the Fleet Marine Corps, there were several Marines that were struggling to swim. I had to get them to learn how to swim. And I learned different tactics. Now, what does this have to do with you, and what does this have to do with PTSD? Sometimes you got to do things that scare you. Sometimes you got to do things that are so freaking crazy, you never thought you would do it, but in a safe way. I don't mean crazy as in, let's go as fast as we can down to... I'm talking about crazy as in doing something that pulls you out of your comfort zone that helps somebody else. Pull yourself out of your comfort zone to help somebody else. A lot of you don't understand that that could be something as simple as maybe going to a veteran's home or a nursing home and reading a book to them. It may be as something as one of your friends, you know they're down and out, call them up and say, hey man, you know what? We're going to go to the park. Why? You get to the park and you go and swing. Yes, grown adults, sitting in a swing this way, they're going to look at you like, this is stupid, dude. I don't care. Talk to me. Because you've got to get them out of their comfort zone also for them to open up, or for them to just, that you got to throw them off guard. I don't mean throwing off guard by punching them, by wrestling them, by feeding them more alcohol until they talk. Because you know what, you're right, you're going to get the depression out of them, but you're not going to fix the problem. You know how you're going to fix the problem? Being a friend. By being that person that takes them maybe to go to a baseball game. I know I'm saying this during the time of Corona right now, right? But, go shoot a game of pool. Go play darts, and do it where you don't drink. Do it to where you need no substance, but you know a person needs to talk. Maybe go to the park as they're putting up the Christmas lights. Friends can do different things that may look and seem weird, but who cares when you're friends with somebody? Sometimes it's just a matter of just spending time with your friends. I went and saw my friend today, and he wasn't who he normally is. And we are taking action on that. But, other people use their situations as an excuse. They don't seem that too. But the whole idea is go where you're celebrated. Get away from your tolerated. Go and actually reach down and pull somebody up. Be kind. Be polite to people, There's people that make me mad all the time. But you know what? I forgave them. I forgave every single person that's ever made me mad. You know what? And I had to forgive myself too. It's not a religious thing to forgive yourself. It's a matter of understanding that we're not perfect, man. We all make mistakes. We all do things to survive. We all do things that we think are right at the moment, but maybe not right now. We all may have been jealous at times or greedy at times. There's times where we may have been looking out for our own best interests and not somebody else's. These are things that we can all overcome and get away from. But most of all, you got to believe in yourself. When you believe in yourself, then others will start believing you also. When you believe that you have the confidence to do what it is you need to do, those kids may not have had the confidence this one. They may not know how. But the first step was jumping in. The second, paddle those arms and those legs as fast as you can, because you know what? That's what's going on. And sometimes that's what makes all the difference in the world. My daughter learned to swim by jumping on top of me, literally, in the deep end of the YMCA. And then later on wavering. And she was mean about it too. Because she had a great time doing it. Sometimes you just got to jump in. And you got to let your friends jump on top of you. Please don't take that in a bad way. But that's what you got to do. You've got to set the example. You want that job? You got to go out and get it. But if you really want the job, you're going to have to study for it. You're going to have to figure out how to get it. And then you're going to have to take action to get it and not rely on anybody else but yourself. But everybody around you can help teach you, train you, and get you ready for it. They might not understand it, but that doesn't mean they can't help you prepare for it. Be kind to the people around you. Be there for people around you. Okay? Not everything, I've got some friends in my life right now, they don't want to be alone. And they get really depressed when they are. But you want to know something? Sometimes you need to get that alone time. Okay? I don't believe in stress cards. I don't believe in a timeout closet. I don't believe in any of that kind of crap. Because like I said, hard work must pay off. And there's no, like I said, the stronger the person will get it. So you didn't get it, so go for something else. Or go for the next job. Or keep doing it until you become that person that's strong enough to get it. Don't try to force somebody to give you something that you don't deserve or that does not belong to you. If you didn't go run a marathon, you don't deserve a medal for running a marathon. I'm sorry, you don't. But here's just it. That doesn't mean you can be depressed about it. Because the only thing that's depressing is you're not getting up and going outside and running yourself, or at least walking. Because guess what? A marathon, okay, how many miles is it? 26? Go run it. Or you can't run it? Walk it then. Ride a bike. I don't care. But no one's going to do it for you. And don't expect to get an award for it. And you know what? If people start seeing you do it, they know you're going to help them, because now you're inspiring them to go do it. When you see people walking or taking a bike ride or running or whatever else, and you see them kind of struggling, you know what I do? I try my best to tell them they're doing great, keep it up, you've got this. But mean it. Don't be making fun of them, but actually tell them they got it. When was the last time you were just nice to somebody because you wanted to see them succeed? How many times do we watch the Olympics and we want the American, because we're all Americans here, we want that American to get the gold medal. All because it's all part of us. Now, does that mean America's any better than anything else? Yeah, it does. You know why? Because we're the home of the free. Home of the brave. But other countries are awesome also. Don't get me wrong. I've been to a lot of countries. You know what? Cultural, historical, religious, these countries are awesome. America, though, you know what? It's like family. Whenever a family member graduates, we're so relieved that they graduate. We're so glad and happy. And the Marine Corps, whenever something happens to a Marine, man, I could have done that. But guess what? We are so happy that that Marine and the Army or the Navy, we're all family. So guess what? Whenever we see somebody succeed, how many times have you seen somebody run for a political office and they were in the branch of the service, and the only reason why you were so grateful that they got it is because they were in the branch of the service, maybe even the same branch you were in? Because it's who we reflect on. Tonight, tell your kids you love them. There may be times you might not be able to. Give them a hug, tell them they mean everything, maybe read to them before they go to bed tonight. Be there for each other. Call a Marine Corps buddy, call a soldier, call a sailor. Call a sailor an Uber driver, it's even better. Sorry, that's what the Navy is, right? Our Uber drivers. We are Department of the Navy, so guess what? We all need our Uber drivers. Alright, I'm going to get in trouble for that one. I've got a couple friends tonight that they're going in for cancer. I'm not going to say who. And they got to have their stomachs checked. These people are going to be in my prayers tonight. They're going to be in our hearts. But guess what? They're going to get through it just fine. I know they're scared. But they're going to get through it. You know why they're going to get through it? Because they're going to go in with a positive attitude. They're going to go in there knowing that there's nothing that can be told where they can't defeat it. Why? Because you got to fail. Getting the words is failure. But now we can figure out a way to beat it every time. The only people is when you give up. Failure is not giving up. Failure is a process of success. Failure is not giving up. Giving up means you're done. You quit. And you know what? I don't want you to quit. I want you to keep going, and I want you to be there for those that need you. Now, I apologize for boring you tonight, and I know that's kind of what I've done, but guess what? You've got this. It doesn't matter who you are. Now, if you're over there trying to judge people for the stuff they're doing, yet they're doing it and you're not, then stop it. That's just wrong. Remember, they're out there doing it, and you could be out there doing it too, or you could be doing something that's just as beneficial. So go do it, and be an example for people. Live by example. Be the example. Be better today than who you were yesterday. That's what's going to save my fellow brothers and sisters, the Marines, and every other branch, is you. The person watching this right now, you're going to save these 22 people. How? Because you're going to go out there one at a time, and you're going to be nice. You're going to be like, hey, how you doing today? Hey, if you ever need anything, you're going to give somebody a pat on the back. You're going to shake a hand, and you're going to be like, hey, if you ever need anything, I'm here. You're going to open up your ears. You're going to offer your shoulders. And eventually, you help enough people up when it's time, they'll help you. And that's how success works. I'm Jeff Jansen. I hope you all are having a great night. For all my Marine Corps brothers out there, each and every one of you mean the world to me. For all my military brothers and sisters out there, each and every one of you matter. Each and every one of you important. For every truck driver out there tonight, you matter. You are one of the vertebrae, one of the pieces of the backbone that run this country. For every nurse and teacher, sheriff and police officer, for every teacher, for every factory worker, each of you make up one of the vertebrae of the America's backbone. For every garbage collector, for every janitorial staff, each and every one of you is a much needed part of that vertebrae. So if you don't think you matter, you are wrong. And I'll tell you that to your face too. There's nothing I can't say here that I can't say to your face. And then we'll go have a beer together. I don't drink. I'll have water. But I'll buy you a beer. For each and every one of you, you matter. And if you don't think you call me, I'll let you know you matter. I don't care where you're at in the world. Yes, I take America. I'm very proud American. But guess what? I've been to these other countries also. I've been to a lot of countries. And they are gorgeous. They're beautiful. And the people are awesome. It's usually our politicians that make them look bad. Be great today. Just like you were yesterday, but be better. We can all be better. Remember, go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated. And every day is a great day. I'll talk with y'all later. God bless. See you soon. If you ever need anything, I'm here for you. Each and every one of you, I am here. Whenever you need me, I'm here. All you got to do is call. Pick up the phone and call. Because you know what? I wouldn't do these if you didn't matter. Why? Because look around. There's nobody else around here. There's nobody else. So like I said, I do it because I care. I do it because it's the one thing I can do. And if it's the only thing I can do, I'm hoping it makes a difference. And maybe one of you guys someday may save a family member in their life. Maybe you'll save my daughter's life. Heck, maybe you might even save mine. So if I didn't tell you, you matter.